This is Eternally Existential, a space for us to sit together in the threshold of paradox, pondering the parts of humaning that are both brutal and beautiful. What it felt like to die. The profound experience I had in past life regression hypnotherapy. Trigger warning: physical abuse, violence, and death. Note: the audio from my past life regression hypnotherapy session was recorded. The dialogue in this post is transcribed from that recording. I'm completely surrendered to whatever this past life regression hypnotherapy session has for me. Covered in a blanket with an eye mask over my eyes, I melt into the recliner as John encourages me to inhale deeply and release all my tension with each exhale. He directs me through a mental body scan, and with each deep breath, before long I'm so relaxed I begin to twitch. He guides me into a visual prompt, a recurring dream I've had since childhood that we discussed during my intake. As I wander my way through the mental vision of the dream, in my meditative state, I feel a massive shift in energy. It's as though I'm being sucked out of my present body and a life that I know as Hannah, and I'm witnessing, through my mind's eye, another life through different eyes, energy, memories, perceptions, and life perspective. I'm fully immersed in a different reality. I gasp. "Are you in a different body?" John asks. "Yes, I'm in a woman's body." I describe what I see. She's wearing a long, floor-length dress with long sleeves, no shoes. The closest description I know how to give is Puritan clothes. My energetic presentation in this body is a stark contrast to the energy of the society of which I am a part, which feels very put together, crisp, and rigid. It's as if cleanliness, uniformity, and conformity of one's presentation is expected, no matter how inauthentic it is to the individual. I stick out in this rigid society. I feel and look like an outsider, but yet I'm grounded in who I am, and my integrity won't allow me to conform to what society expects of me. I don't feel the need to spend my energy hiding my true, wild, uninhibited self. My senses come alive. I smell the richness of the soil that stains my hands, feet, and clothes. I feel the dirty, tattered, thin dress draping on my body. I feel the dirt under my nails. I feel connected to nature and to the earth. I refuse to wear shoes because I want to feel the ground on my feet. I'm young, late teens, maybe early 20s. I feel the energy of this person's existence. It's palpable, like we're inhabiting one another's bodies across time and space. "What's the very first thing you notice?" John asks further. I look around and I'm stunned to see the man I know as my father, Chris, but he's a completely different person in a different body. I see my dad. He's my dad, but he's not him as I've known him as Hannah. It's the essence of who my dad is, his soul and his energy, but he doesn't have the characteristics like I know him. He's a totally different person. "What's different about him?" asks John. My heart races. I can feel the palpable disdain he has for me. "Oh, he's mean here. So mean." I sense his rage, but Hannah doesn't know him as mean. I speak of myself in third person. "He was a gentle, kind dad to Hannah." "What's he saying to you?" asks John. There's no words. He's trying to grab me. He wants to use physical force to control me. I feel his hands grab my arms as he digs his fingers deep into my skin. I start shaking in the recliner. He has his hands on me, shaking my shoulders. I see him lift his hand to me. I wince and grab my face. He slapped me so hard I'm on the ground. I begin sobbing. The grief from his disdain overwhelms me. I don't hear the conversation as if it were dialogue. I just sense the energy of he and I in the scene. When I do hear words, it's telepathically, from his mind, not with his mouth. His disdain, abuse, and rage is evident, but I can sense beyond what I'm witnessing, as if I can read his soul and the deeper meaning behind his emotions and actions. His rage is out of his own self-protection. He wants to love me, but I'm a woman who doesn't conform to society's standards for women, and he not only thinks that I should conform, he forces himself to hate me because he doesn't want to face the grief of losing me, which is a very real possibility for women in this era if they don't comply with what's expected of them. I'm just trying to live my life, I told John. I don't care about protocol and standards and what's expected of me because of my gender. I'm just trying to exist. I just want to exist. I become winded from the visceral anxiety I feel as I vacillate between the idea of who I am in this past life and the stark contrast of what is expected of me in this society. I don't know what to do. I feel trapped in my circumstances. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. John probes further. What else does your dad do? I observe the scene deeper. He towers over me, disgusted with me. I can feel that I'm not the kind of daughter that he wanted. I made his life too complicated by not fitting into the expectations he and society have of women. I forced him to face the reality that women are autonomous people and can have strength and power, and he's angry at me for challenging his ideals, even though my challenge wasn't intentional. I was just existing in the way I felt I should exist. I relate to John. He's saying that's all you're supposed to be good for. Why can't you just be what you're good for? John asks for clarification. What do you mean that's all you're supposed to be good for? I try to articulate through my tears. Women things, marriage, babies, quiet, subservient, I say in short, pointed words. I remain on the ground where he threw me, and I feel the force of him kick me as I jolt in the recliner. I start moaning in terror as the scene shifts from just me and my dad to a rambunctious crowd with me at the center of attention in the middle of a small rural village. There's a lot of people around now, I tell John. I continue to cry as I sense my dad's rage morph into grief. I can sense the entire timeline of both of our lives together in this incarnation. He harmed me because his harm is much less terrorizing than what he knows is about to happen to me. He believed his harm was to keep me safe. Who are these people? John asks. The rage from the mob is so palpable, it feels like you could physically chew on it. It's the community. They're focused on me, I relate to John. They think I pause to avoid a modern cliche. However, there's only one way I know to describe the mob's mentality. They think I'm a witch. A massive wave of guttural sadness hits me as I see my father turn his back to me, and I'm left alone to face the bloodthirsty crowd. I tell John, Dad acts like he doesn't know me now. He disintegrates into the mob so he can keep himself safe. Through my sobs, John gently encourages me to fully immerse myself into the scene, but I'm trepidatious because the crowd is barbarically volatile. Tell me about what's happening, says John. I continue. They're accusing me of things that are basic, normal things like speaking and moving through the world, but this society considers this a threat. I'm a threat, but it doesn't make sense to me to not exist freely the way I'm meant to. What are they accusing you of? John asks. What are you hearing them say? I tune into the memory that led to this specific moment. I see and feel it with my whole essence. I stood up for someone. A woman was having her period and they physically beat her because of it, and I was compelled to say that's not right. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I had a hard time articulating to John exactly what I was experiencing because it was so emotional, profound, and visceral. I feel like I'm surrounded by men that think they're everything, I tell him, and the women won't say anything because they don't want to be in my spot. And I'm not mad at them because I understand the cost of speaking up. My attention turns back to my dad and I feel him say to me, I inflicted all that pain because I was trying to protect you from this moment. What I did was better than what's about to happen. You have to go with the way people expect of you to keep yourself safe. I lose it when I hear him say this. I yell from the recliner. What's the point of being safe? I plead with him. That's not what matters. I scream as I choke through tears. What matters? John asks, unfazed by my shouting. Look at their faces. In my mind, I point to the women and young children around me witnessing this moment, and I implore the men in the mob to look at the face of the people they choose to harm, hoping that they would get a glimpse into their humanity and stop. The way you're treating them, us, is inhumane. Standing up for our humanity is better than being safe. I yell both to the crowd, my dad, and in real life. I matter. They matter. We all matter, I sob as tears stream down my face. What do you see in the faces of the mob? Asks John. Disgust. It's comparable to what I witnessed on the screaming faces in the mobs of the people on the January 6th Capitol attack. It's the same barbarism. It's animalistic. They can't think. Their physical bodies are so dysregulated with rage. They're too inundated with the mob mentality. They can't form their own thoughts and think clearly for themselves. My fear and anger shifts into acceptance of what is coming, and I'm overcome with grief. I thought that I would have more time to live and to bring my rebellious energy into a world that needs to be disrupted. But my life is being cut short. I've been forced onto a pile of wood and kindling with my back up to a pole and my hands tied behind me. I scan my physical body and notice that my legs can't move. My feet have been tied to the pole to keep me from running. My heart beats in my chest and pounds through my ears because I, Hannah, panic at the thought and feeling of having my legs unable to move in a way that prevents me from being able to run. Perhaps it's an embodied imprint of my time in this past life. Can you still see at this point, or do they have your eyes covered as well? John asks. I can see. I don't see faces with distinct features. It's more like I'm staring at the human form, looking into a shadow of this form, and with every ounce of intention, desperately searching to try and reach into the depths of their darkness to find some glimmer of light that would allow them to correct their course. With anguish, I try to reach some otherworldly part of them beyond what's right there in front of me. I can see inside every individual, and their amygdala, the part of the brain that controls their fear and fight response, has fully activated. It glows like the fire they will soon light beneath me. It's a sea of fiery minds before me. When the amygdala is activated, it's hard for a healthy individual to regulate, much less individuals caught up in an angry mob. This response in their physical brains prohibits any sort of reasoning or rationale. I can sense their soul trying to come through to try and probe their conscience, but they're too heightened in their rage and misogyny that they literally can't be reached because their physical brains are preventing it. What's happening now? John asks. They're excited to get rid of me, I tell him. I disrupt their status quo. I can't fathom how they can be this barbaric. I don't understand, I say over and over again. I feel hopeless for the community, for humanity. I feel their anger and their hate. I know this is the end for me. These are my final moments as the kindling is lit beneath me and the mob collectively celebrates. There's nothing I can do anymore. I can't change anyone. I tried. In my small world, I tried. I just wanted people to see and understand the potential you can be beyond how we believe people are meant to exist in the cages, systems, and binaries where we keep ourselves and each other trapped. I'm more grieved that they won't change than I am about my own death. You can see their potential, but they don't have the ability to, John confirms. And why is this being shown at this time? He asks. I know immediately. It's because I know that I can see the beauty in existence and the potential that can come out of that beauty. We're supposed to pull the best parts out of each other, and they're rejecting it, but it's out of my control. I'm meant to show up, and I'm supposed to keep trying to point people to beauty and the higher potential inside of them. I'm meant to be a beauty scavenger amongst their restrictive systems, to point the collective to something bigger, more beautiful, more free. But all I can do is show up and try. As the flames slowly encroach towards my feet, I scan the crowd of burning brains as if I'm on top of a hill looking out at a vast village burning around me. I look past the rage on each physical form to see if I can sense someone, anyone whose brain and senses have the capacity to physically be reached. I see the back of my dad again. His countenance has changed. He no longer burns with the same rage as the mob. He's overcome with soulful sorrow, not necessarily over what is happening to me. It's a sorrow that he did everything he could to prevent what was happening, but the circumstances are outside of his control. He's facing a reckoning that will haunt him for the rest of this life. I see Dad again, I report to John. He's justifying his years of abuse, saying that it's better than what's happening now. The abuse he inflicted was his protection. He's saying that he tried to warn me. He knows how the machine of society works, and he has to go with it to be safe and to keep everyone in his life safe. Is that a word that he uses? Safe? John asks. It's the second time he's used that word. How do you feel when he uses that word, safe? I become indignant. You don't know what safety is, I scream at his back, choking back tears. This is conformity, not safety. I pause, then let out a massive wail. I'd rather be here facing my death than the dictated lifeless shell of existence you're choosing to live. And with that blow, my father's energy disappears from the scene, and I'm left to face the heartless, vengeful mob alone. As you continue to look through the crowd, do you recognize anyone from Hannah's present life? Asks John. I continue to scour the mob, scanning for an energy I can recognize when I see the face, or rather the soul essence of one individual to my right, hiding at the back of the crowd watching in horror, but trying not to draw attention to himself. That's Hannah's husband, Aaron, I exclaim. He sees that I notice him. My attention diverts from the mob to be fully engaged with him, and our energies make a connection, communicating through our minds. The fire has met my feet. He wants to stop what is happening to me, but he's petrified. He's not participating in the mob, but he's there watching in horror. Look into his eyes, John directs. What do you know about him? I can see the very essence of Aaron's soul as I look into his face. It's as if we've known each other across time and incarnations. He's not the same as everyone around us. He has compassion. He's empathetic, I relate to John. He's someone that I know in this life. He's a friend, I question. As I'm reading through this energy, within a single moment, I can see the whole scope of our relationship in this life. We broke social rules to spend time together in secret. I can tell our dynamic is not romantic, at least not now in this moment in time, but there was potential. He's someone I care about, and he cares deeply about me, but it wasn't sexual. We just loved each other. I tell John he wants to do something about what is happening to me, but he's afraid. There's too many people to stop it. They would kill him too. I'm able to connect to the thoughts and emotions that Aaron is experiencing. He's ripped into shreds by what is happening to me. It's the most terrifying and horrific thing he's ever experienced. And in the midst of my death, I talk directly to him. I know, I comfort him. I see what you're feeling. I know. He shares his regret and guilt for not speaking up. I'm filled with compassion for him. It's not your time right now. You have to stay, I tell him. This is what is meant for me, and I accept it. It's not meant for you. Much like when sitting with a friend in their deepest grief when words fail, we hold our energetic connection in a silent void that's overflowing with divine love. It's an otherworldly connection, an otherworldly love. This love holds me in my last moments and drowns out the angry mob. I hold on to this connection for as long as I can. As I feel the flames engulf me and my physical body weaken, I say my last words to him. We will. I choke back tears trying to get the words out while lying in the recliner. We'll try again. I let out a wail. We'll try again in another life. The energy of Aaron's sorrow and guilt crashes over me like a tsunami when he hears these words. I reassure him one last time. It's okay. We'll get another chance. Be free. I love you. I'm not mad at you. I love you. I will see you next time. With that, I lose contact with Aaron's energy and fully embrace my fate. Death encroaches. I'm not afraid. We could have been something, I whisper to John. But it can't be this time, because we're here in this society. The crowd stands around and watches as if they're simply watching a trash heap burn. Do you stay in the body, or are you able to leave? Asks John. I'm able to leave my body shortly after I say goodbye to Aaron. I'm right over their heads, I report to John. I'm weightless, like a drone getting an aerial view of the scene. I no longer have a connection to this body, both physically and emotionally. It's now just a shell, and I exist as a weightless consciousness. I'm no longer able to communicate with anyone who's in a physical form, but my residual sadness for the people in the mob remain. You can be better, I whisper one last time. This is very important, John says. Now that you have left the body in this life, I need you to scan your being to recognize if you bring anything with you from this life into your current life as Hannah. I take deep, mindful breaths as I follow his instructions. The most cavernous, grievous feeling I have is loneliness, I tell John. I feel lonely because I try to search for the words to articulate the reason for my profound loneliness. Because I question everything. I'll ask, but why, over and over, and the reply I get from everyone is, that's just the way it is. Tears well in my eyes. I feel ostracized for my curiosity, for not going with the status quo. I'm not pristine. I'm a free spirit, and it's been so lonely. I'm strong and don't care to change, I confess. But it's been an incredibly lonely journey being so ostracized and isolated. Before you leave, says John, it's important to be aware that that life is over and to let go of that feeling of profound loneliness. With this permission, I begin to gently sob. Not only was the loneliness a theme in this past life, profound loneliness has been a theme that I have felt in my life as Hannah since as young as I can remember. In a calm, low voice, John continues, let the body know that that life is over, and there's no longer any need to carry those feelings. It served its purpose in this past life. Now feel yourself releasing those energies. As I focus my intentions on his instructions, he gently continues to remind me over and over to allow my body to let go of the deep feeling of loneliness. Now, in place of these feelings, breathe in the divine light that is available to you, he says. We pause for a moment and I take several deep breaths. Then he asks, what's happening to you now? Where are you now? My mind's eye has shifted to a new scene in another realm much different from Earth. It's spiritual, divine, and only knows peace. I'm in a bright subway terminal, I tell John. I'm waiting for the subway to take me to the next step. I'm standing on the platform facing the tracks when I sense a presence behind me. I turn around. You might know me as Bob, says the voice, and I start laughing out loud. Who is Bob? John asks. My countenance quickly changed from profound sadness to joy, as if I'm seeing a loved, familiar friend. He's my spirit guide, I confidently reply. Spirit guides, or what religion calls guardian angels, are spiritual entities assigned to souls that act as support to guide us during our incarnation toward wisdom, our highest self, and our soul's mission in life. When I first learned about spirit guides from Journey of Souls, I started wondering about mine. Over time, when I would meditate or pray to ask for help, I started calling my spirit guide Bob. It made me laugh to think that this magnificently divine entity would be named something as human and simple as Bob. So I started talking to Bob and asking Bob for guidance and support. So here was Bob meeting me on the subway platform. Am I making this all up? I ask Bob. No, you're not. What you've experienced here is meant to serve you for your highest good, he replies. "What does Bob have to share with you at this time?" asks John. "What does Bob want you to know?" I ask these questions to Bob. "That was rough back there," he says, "but it's not your fault. This was a section of time on the planet, and humans didn't have the ability to view everyone with equal value and respect regardless of their gender or how they expressed themselves to the world. They were still evolving. They're still evolving even now." He encouraged me. "Your death was inevitable because their actions were outside of your control. But by being your full, authentic self, regardless of expectations, you were on the path to accomplish what you were meant to accomplish, and that's what matters." "What is being shown to you about what you accomplished?" John asks. "You were true to what was right in your gut, and you dignified all the people that weren't dignified at that point in society," Bob tells me. "You say you want to live with a divine love like Jesus while you're here, and that was your whole mission there. Although you didn't have that language, did you do that?" Bob asks rhetorically, and then, as if he's imitating Family Feud, "Survey says you did. Congratulations." His sense of humor brings me immense comfort. He continues, "Hey, I know you're experiencing similar things in this life too. You were abused and left alone to figure out life. You're neurodivergent, autistic, and have ADHD, but those are just human labels to identify aspects of human embodiment. None of these things make you insufficient. And the labels are helpful to validate your lived experience in a society that ostracizes anyone that doesn't fit inside of their expectations. You're whole. Nothing is deficient or missing. You're just performing outside of society's standards. It doesn't make it bad or wrong. You're just who you are. We, your spirit team, love you for who you are. You know this. You just need a reminder." Quite a lot, actually, but that's my job. I'm here to remind you when you need it. John asks, "How do you feel about what he's telling you?" With soul-deep gratitude, I respond, "Seen." John encourages me to allow every cell in my body to fully experience that sense of being seen. I lay in the recliner basking in the seenness. My body tingles. I feel warmth like basking in the sun on a cool day. There's light all around me as I rest in the encouragement from Bob. I feel like I can breathe, like my soul can fully inhale and release the most satisfying exhale. Bob reminds me, "This is all encouragement you have available to you where you are. You can always tap into this endless well. It's available to you on earth at any moment you need it." Tears stream down my cheeks. I feel so loved, supported, and seen in this hard human journey. I see the subway car approach the platform, and I sense my time with Bob in this realm is ending. Suddenly, I feel myself wrapped in a hug, except there's no arms. It's like my soul is being wrapped up in a divine embrace. I rest in that hug and then start sobbing. "I don't want to say goodbye," I say out loud. "I know," replies Bob, "but I'm with you." He continues, "Your spirit team loves you just the way you are. We love you because of who you are. Focus on your path. Stay curious. Keep listening, being yourself, and loving people. One of your greatest strengths is seeing the potential in others and the beauty in everything. That is what's going to sustain you." I'm holding back tears as a subway car stops in front of my platform and its doors open, waiting for me to board. I rest in the last moment of this soul hug as Bob reminds me, "You are just as strong now in your body, in your heart, and everything about you as that woman back there in your past life. You have all of that in you in this life. Keep going. It didn't change people's minds back then like you hoped, but it will make shifts in the world now that will have implications in the future that you can't even imagine." We rest in our final moments together, then I step onto the subway and the doors close in front of me as I wave bye to Bob. He dramatically blows me a kiss because he knows it will make me laugh. I leave feeling like I have a cheerleader on my life's journey. The subway moves forward and my full awareness is brought back to John's office. I pull the eye mask away from my eyes and adjust to the sunlight shining in through the windows. I take a moment, then sit up as John hands me a bottle of water. I feel as though I have just run a triathlon.